everyone. Welcome to Soul Quest episode 66. I'm delighted to have Mallory Davidson here today. Hi, Mallory.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. This is my Virgo friend. When's your birthday?
September 6th.
Oh my gosh, mine's the second. So I just met somebody the other day with the September 6th. I can't remember who it was. Weird. Well, welcome, Virgo.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy very early birthday to us both.
Yes, early birthday. Happy birthday. So Mallory and I were just discussing right before we pressed record the process of growing out our silver hair, the gray hair. And I've been gray since I was probably 30. I mean, that's when I started noticing my late 20s. I started noticing gray hair because that's when I started dyeing my hair dark because before that it was highlighted
Hmm.
until about age 27. I started just doing a whole dark thing and then I started noticing the grays coming in. So I've been gray for a while and I don't know how long I've been a full head of gray because I've been hiding it so much, but it's probably been 10 years and I'm 48, so it's only been since 38 I could have been a whole head of silver. But there's a lot of people that are starting to do that at that age where they're just letting it go in their early, there's some that are 80 that don't have gray hair. So
Right.
it's really unique, but you're starting the process.
Yeah, I'm like over a year into it. So it's funny. I joke that I'm like a calico now because there's so much happening. But what I'm finding is it's actually, I really love a little sparkle, a little razzle dazzle. I call it dog
Yeah.
glitter. And I'll be 40 in September. And I'm glad I'm doing it now because I could have probably done it 10 years ago because I've had since early 20s, I've had some sparkle. But
Mhm.
it's getting more and more. And so I'm a little over a year into growing it out and we have all this color variation.
Uh-huh.
And I love when I see other people, especially women, with full gray. I think it looks so powerful to
Yeah.
me. Looks so
Yeah.
cool.
I started to train myself, I think, to see it, to see the beauty in it when I
Mhm.
was deciding, okay, it's time to ditch the box of hair dye. I mean,
Yeah,
I couldn't afford to go to a somebody for like $100 every month. Like I couldn't do that. So
sure.
I did the hair box and I was so tired of it because it would start appearing 2 to 3 weeks. It would already be appearing and I had to keep covering up. I was like, why am I fighting this? Like I'm all about going with the flow and not resisting. So why am I resisting this? And so finally I just did it and it was so empowering. But I would train myself by looking at all these women that were doing it as well and how their pictures of them 2 years after growing it out and how beautiful it looked. And I was like, I just
Mhm.
want healthy hair like that again.
Yeah.
And it's already stopped. I used to lose so much hair in the shower and now it's reduced like 70%.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a
just
great
because I
sign for
stopped.
health.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
because I stopped putting dye on my
Yeah.
scalp. So,
Yeah. Yeah, even with the box color, I was doing the box color on my roots every 3 to 4 weeks because it goes so quickly, right? You have to keep up with it. But even that, I'm saving a lot of time and money too.
yeah.
And I started this process a couple months before I went on a long trip, and I thought, well, there's no perfect time because I thought I don't want the pictures to look weird, and I finally thought, who cares? So what if they look weird? It'll be cool. I'll look back and go, oh, that's when I started growing my hair out. How fun! And now I do. Just over a year later, I'm like, oh yeah, my hair did kind of look crazy on that trip. So what? I had a great time. It didn't, and I wasn't worried the whole time about do I need to go get hair dye? Am I going to be able to
Mhm.
find it? All that silly stuff that I had done before.
Yeah.
So I find it just quite delicious myself. It feels really good
Yeah.
to me. Yeah, and I
I
think
love
yours looks
it.
fabulous.
Well, thank you so much.
Mm.
Yeah, yours looks natural. I didn't even know. You said you've been a year. Yeah, yours is very blended
Yeah,
in.
it's in there. It's in
Yeah,
the
I see
light. You
it.
can
Okay.
really see some fun stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, that's the
I, yeah. I
I
noticed
love
the
it.
texture is different too. Is yours like the
Yeah.
texture that's not colored that's just the gray?
Yes.
It's different,
Yes.
right?
It is different. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's coarser. I don't know. It's a
Yeah. Mine's like a kinkier or something because it's
Yeah.
naturally curly, but the gray ones are like hello, like little antennas,
Yeah.
which maybe they are. It is officially part of the nervous system. So yeah, that's one way to think of it is our antennas.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
actually heard in a spiritual world somewhere that, I mean, it was posted in a spiritual group that our hair is an antenna and that we shouldn't cut it.
Yeah. I've heard that too. Even like leg hair and stuff, which makes sense and to each their own, right? Whatever
Yeah.
they want to do. But I find that interesting as well. It does, we can perceive more with hair, whatever that is.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. And
A
thinking
lot.
through crown chakra stuff too, I'm like, well, of course it would be silver or gold or, that aligns with the
Mhm.
chakra system too, which is cool.
Yeah, so much interesting stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mallory, tell us, I on this podcast, Soul Quest, we like to dive deep into your spiritual journey.
Okay.
So, what was your childhood like? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Northeast Texas, a little town. It's called Bonham. It's like an hour and a half from Dallas,
Okay.
but it's pretty far out there. Yeah.
All right.
Um, and there was some really cool parts of childhood. There was the country element, like I grew up farming, which was very grounding and fun. And I'm
Wow.
still, puttering around the garden every day. Um, and I grew up in organized religion, which gave me a really good foundation for spiritual things. And it also has given me a lot of opportunity of things to um, expand upon, we can say. Um, so a lot of benefit from that, although my path these days looks a lot different from how it did all those years ago.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you grew up on a farm, religious, you would say religious family?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. All
Yeah.
right. So, did you have siblings?
Yeah. I have an older brother and a 11-year younger sister.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So I'm middle technically, but it's interesting with birth order because generally the oldest has a different experience, but I feel my experience was more as if I were the older one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not, but I relate a little bit more to that when I hear about like sibling order and stuff. The older child, it feels more true for me,
Mhm.
even though I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so then what would you say was your biggest challenge as a child?
I think it was being so intuitive and sensitive, but not understanding what that meant or not having the words around that. So these days, when I'm around kids, they're so magical and I can see that in them. But I think the challenge for me as a kid was I didn't have someone to say, oh, that's actually your intuition. Here's what that means, or here's how you can learn to work with that.
Mhm.
Or, I'd hear someone say something, but I would intuit their behavior was different. And so I felt confused a lot. And that was a big challenge for me. I felt confused all the time because I was getting all this information, but I didn't know what to do with it or what it was.
Yeah, I can relate to that. That makes total sense. And yeah, I mean, kids were not taught this. Oh, most kids weren't.
Right.
There were some families that were, but yeah, I could have definitely used someone guiding me towards my inner wisdom. It would have really
Yeah.
helped life be easier,
Yeah.
right?
Me too. Me too. But look at you now. You've
I
become the
know,
person
right?
you needed. Yeah.
Look at us. I know
Yeah.
definitely everything happens for a growth experience. So yeah, I
Sure.
mean, and to be able to go back and think about those times and what could have made it better for you is what helps you make life better for other people today,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened after you left home? Where did you go?
I did a very scandalous thing and I went to massage therapy school. And it's hilarious now, but it was not funny at the time because I was actually really scared because being from a small town, being
Hmm.
from a conservative family, also it was, more than 20 years ago. So the thought process around body work was not always pure and professional at that
Hmm.
time. And so my family was like, what? It was this for the family dynamic was this huge upset, which is like so cute, right? It's so cute now. Also now the whole well, most of the people in the family always want to get worked on. So that whole, it's been really cool. The whole, like, it completely flipped. But at the time it was pretty scandalous. Um, and I had a male roommate, which was also scandalous. Strictly roommate, but still, it's kind of funny part of the story. Yeah, so I got really into body work, and that brought me kind of back around to the intuitive work through the body. And now I do both, body work and energy work, and I teach. But it's really funny to look back on the path and all the twists and turns. And at the time, it felt so different than it feels now. To look back and just go, good for me. Like that was a cool move. I had a great time in massage school, and
That's
then I
awesome.
taught in massage schools for years. So that was
That's
like it really
awesome.
worked out. I'm glad I did follow my intuition on that, because I
That's
almost
great.
didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that would have been scandalous in my family too because it was always understood that I was going to college, you know? And
Oh yeah.
I didn't really know what else to do anyway, so I just went. I was like, I don't know. Okay, sure. Let's just take. I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm doing though. It took
Yeah.
me 6 years to get out of it, so that's cool that you knew exactly what you wanted to do. You didn't have to waste your time, you know?
Oh, I wasted a little bit. I did go to community college for I think about a year, and I was just so bored. I was like, none of this is so boring. So yeah, I had a little moment too with that, because that was what the expectation was.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
So
so
how
funny.
funny. Yeah. So
That
it
is
took you
so
6 years to get out, huh?
I couldn't decide what I wanted. I went to nursing school. I failed. I wanted to be like a criminal psychologist, but
Cool.
and then I changed to like nursing because it's more stable. And I knew what I could do, and then I failed. I failed, and I was like, I don't want to do humans anymore. I want to do animals. So I went back to my home city, Houston, and I was like, I'm going to be a zoologist or something with animals. And then I was like, I can't do physics. I just kept going back and forth. But you know what? By that time, my parents were like, okay, whatever, because my brothers didn't go to college, my older brothers. So they were kind of more accepting of me switching around and paying for everything
Yeah. Well,
as
that
long as I
worked
stayed.
out. Yeah. So thanks,
Yeah.
thanks to your older brothers, right? They set
Yeah.
that one up nicely for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks to them,
Yeah.
it helped because they were more accepting of like, okay, as long as she's staying in school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But they still have you know, that view of, everybody should go to college. And I'm like, oh no, yeah.
Yeah. I can understand. That's a strong social thread.
It is,
I
yeah.
think especially for the generations before us. But what
Yeah.
I have found through trade school for myself, that was a much better fit.
Hmm.
And most of the people I interact with, trade school has been a great, or whatever their path is. But I think trade schools are awesome.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think that's
definitely
a great
I
route.
I don't encourage my daughter. Hopefully my daughter's grandparents aren't watching this,
Yeah.
but I don't encourage my daughter to go to college. I'm like, if she wants to go to college, but
Sure.
she's an artist, so I was like, art school or do something creative, start your own business. There's no need to go to college for just to go to college, just to get
Right.
a degree.
It's all shifting, don't you think? Like right
Yeah.
now, there's so many shifts happening. I think a lot of that is around the education system too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
things are changing. There's so much good education outside of college, right? Like
Yeah,
Reiki
absolutely.
class, you teach Reiki, right?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Yeah, so
I
like
sure
stuff
do.
like that is, for those that are on the spiritual path, we can find so much. I mean, I'm overwhelmed. I like to be a forever student. I could take classes all day for a year and if somebody would pay me, I would like,
Sure. Oh, me too. If you get that gig, sign me up. That'd
yeah,
be awesome.
I know. Can I
Yeah.
just be a student for a year and get a
Yeah.
salary? That would be ideal.
Yeah. Maybe you will.
I'm gonna put
Let's,
it out there.
yeah, that's right. See what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So in your adult life, what would you say has been your biggest challenge?
Oh man, being an adult is not nearly as much fun as I thought it was going to be. I mean, there are parts that are great fun. Um, yeah, the adulting thing, I think just That's a good question. I'm thinking of how to word it. I think now that I have more understanding of my intuition, so I don't feel as confused, because
Hmm.
that was really tough as a kid. I would say now the toughest part is probably learning the balance of when to be of service with to others versus when to be just with myself. So I think we're both projectors, right? In human design.
I'm a manifester,
Yeah.
but
Oh, okay.
similar
Okay.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been recently learning a little bit about that, and that's been helpful because, from what I understand, the projector type, we don't have a backup battery, which makes a
Right.
lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so when I'm in service or in a class or something, it's so joyful and fun for me. And then sometimes I need like a day or two just by myself. So
Yeah.
I'm in that lesson right now, figuring out that balance.
Hmm.
So that's currently what's on my radar of the growth spurt that I'm in, is learning to balance whatever rest and quiet time I need while still getting to be of service, because that's really fun too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And projectors are the natural teachers and
Mm,
guides. So you have that desire to do that,
yeah.
but it's like you don't have the energy to do it all the time. And
Right.
same with me. Like I can't, and I keep telling myself, remember you're a manifester. Like what are you doing? You need to be working on um, creating money passively because
Yeah.
I can't work. And I'm saying that now, universe. I'm not saying I'm
Yeah.
saying I'm
Bring all the
catching
goodies
myself.
in. Yeah.
I
Bringing all
can't
the
take
goodies that
so
go with
many
this.
clients, but I welcome as many clients as you want to send me. But I need to learn how to say no at a certain time. And let me just be clear, I'm not overflowing with clients, but there are some days when it's like everyone books on Monday or something, and I'm like, that is overwhelming to me to work with 5 clients on a Monday. Like it
On one
just,
day.
I'm
Sure.
like, can you spread it out a little? Why is everybody booking on Monday?
Yeah, I understand. And then it's tricky because you want the business and you want to be with the clients, right? Because
Yeah,
that's really fulfilling too. But yeah, that balance is exactly what I'm talking about. Is what a gift that 5 people booked on a Monday,
right.
and you may need more rest after that, or you may need to shift your
Yeah,
schedule to what's going to work for you.
yeah, definitely. Learning
Yeah.
and yeah, just I am not in a place where I can be like, I can only put myself open for 2 hours a day or something, but that would be ideal, right?
Right. Maybe that's where you're headed.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that's where we're both headed.
Yes.
Some I do lately I have been blocking my schedule more. If I'll do like a self check-in every day, like how's the battery,
Hmm.
and then
Good.
if it's not where I'd like it to be, then if in the next day or two I can block a couple of hours, even just for quiet time.
Hmm.
I've been doing that. And
That's
that it
great.
sounds simple, but it's helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So you're hitting 40. Oh my gosh, you're going through your Uranus opposition midlife.
I'm going through something. I'm feeling real spicy about it. So I'd love to know what you know about that, because I it's like really empowering and fun, but I'm feeling pretty spicy.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a newer, at least outwardly spicy is newer for me. So
Yeah.
any
Wow.
advice, any insights?
I mean, when I turned 40, I just felt this deep change in me. I mean, I
Mhm.
was like, I'm going on a retreat by myself. I found this, I started wanting to write more and meditate more. And I went to a class, a writing meditation class, and they were talking about this retreat that they're having in Hawaii, Molokai, Hawaii. And I was like, this sounds like a dream. I'm turning 40. I'm treating myself to this. Like, I was married at the time, with a 4-year old. And so I was like, I'm going to use my 40th birthday as an excuse to go. Otherwise, my husband then would have been like, what are you doing? So I was like,
Mhm.
I'm turning 40, I'm doing this. And I went off by myself to have that break because I was like, I don't know if I can handle this life, this like marriage. But a year later, I left the marriage. So it was in that year of 40, 41 that I just felt, yeah, this pressure to change. So like,
Uh-huh.
it's time to to make some decisions. Like, do you want to live like this for the rest of your life? Do you? It's just a shakeup, and I think that's what the planet does, is shake up things. So yeah, it definitely shook things up, but it was really needed. So
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
And
the
so
midlife
you
crisis.
did get to go to Hawaii, right?
I did,
Okay.
and
That's what I'm planning to do for my 40th. Well, it's self-imposed retreat, but yeah,
yeah.
that's really interesting. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I had been to Hawaii before for my friend's wedding. Um, yeah, so I'd been twice. I mean, I'd been once before, but this was an island that nobody really travels to. Like it was the
Mhm.
one that in history was where the leprosy patients
Oh, interesting. Okay.
went to, so that it wasn't, a lot of people in Hawaii still have misconception about the island, so it still stays kind of rural. It
Yeah.
was really nice because it wasn't busy. There was only one traffic light. But I was on just the retreat site most of the time.
Hmm.
Beautiful island whenever I got off of that retreat site. It was just a really great experience for me to be on my own and just explore. But it really propelled me into wanting. The experience was great. The retreat could have been better.
Mm.
It just wasn't exactly what I expected. There could have been some improvements. And so that propelled me to want to do retreats on my own. It was like, I feel like,
How
okay.
empowering.
Yeah, yeah, it was. So it was great for me personally and I think professionally. I mean, even though I've had some big financial lessons with the last retreat I did in Costa Rica. I'm still coming back from that, but I'll be back. I'll be back with
Right.
retreats another day.
Yeah.
So tell us about your work.
Okay. I'm giggling because I also did a retreat, hosted a retreat that I learned a lot from.
Really?
And my goal, and what I asked my guides to show me, was to learn how to really do this and do this well. And I learned a lot, and it ended up being me and one other person. Originally it was like six. And so it was, I just want to say, heart to heart, I feel you, girl.
Okay.
But
Good.
it is a way to learn, right? So I was like, well,
Definitely.
I was the one that set the intention that I want to learn how to do this, and one way to learn how to do that is to learn how not to do it. And
Right.
so yeah, so you're in good company on
Yeah.
that. um yeah,
It is
so we're
hard. It is hard.
yeah.
Retreats are hard. It seems so. It's fun, and like you want to bring people together in community, right? I know you
Of
like to
course.
do that. So it's like,
Yeah.
but it's the marketing and trying to get, you know,
Hmm.
the finances back at least
Sure. Yeah,
is stressful.
it's
Yeah.
much more complicated than I thought. And I've done several, and each one I've learned something, but the one international one I did turned out a great success in that I learned a lot. And it's just a lot more work than it looks like. So,
Yeah.
you see these beautiful things advertised, like, oh, that looks simple and fun and easy. And it's not.
I
I'm sure you
know.
know. It's
Yeah,
really,
I know. I
yeah.
think I'd rather go on retreats. Like I
Mhm.
wish I could go to Jen's retreat in France. That would be
It
amazing.
looks awesome. Yeah, it looks really cool.
I would
Yeah.
rather go on a few retreats before I start getting back into that later on. But
I think that's
yeah,
smart. Yeah. So that retreat that turned out with one beautiful, beautiful student who's also a friend. It was a great trip. That was a Reiki Master retreat. So we got to do a lot of one on one training, which was great fun, very deep and meaningful work. So I
great.
was thankful to get to do that. But yeah, in my day to day now, what it usually looks like is I have a private practice where I do hands on body work and energy work. It's a blend of modalities like cranial sacral therapy for the nervous system and the physical body, and then Reiki and other intuitive practices for the energy body. And the secret sauce, it seems to me, is when they overlap, right? When we have the body and the energy in the same space. And then also I incorporate some kind of biohacking tools like molecular hydrogen therapy and ozone therapy as
Wow.
well. So yeah, and then I teach a myriad of modalities. The same ones that I practice, I also teach workshops and certifications for.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's really interesting work.
Oh, that sounds so that nourishing. Like just like having,
Mhm.
so what is a session? Give me an example of what a session looks and feels like
I would
with you.
love
If
to.
I was to walk in, I will get a session with you eventually,
Please,
but
please do. I would love to have you. So
describe it to me.
sure, if you're going to come in person, which a lot of people do, but energy work also is offered virtually and long distance,
Okay.
and it works great. But if you were to come to Austin or Cedar Park to either of those offices, you would come in. We'd be together about an hour, sometimes a little bit longer if there's something going on. Um, you would lay face up, if that's comfortable, on a cushy massage table with fuzzy blankets, if you're into that. Most
Nice.
people are.
Yes.
And then you would feel a series of really gentle holds all along the cranium or the skull, your head, down the spine, all the way to the lower back, and then often on the arms and legs too, because there's some fascial unwinding. There's a little bit of tissue work that sometimes happens. Um, and then also, if there's time, we would do a chakra balancing, which is a common thing. And the client can actually see the pendulum move or not move. So you can physically see what's going on with your own chakra system, which is pretty cool.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
My cat's meowing. Can you hear him? Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully
Hi,
he'll stop.
buddy.
Go ahead.
He must know I'm a cat lady. He's like, yeah, my friend is here. Yeah, I love cats. Um, so yeah, so it's usually a mix of things, and often people will um do molecular hydrogen therapy, which the machine that I have, you put on like a nasal cannula, like oxygen, and it's pure oxygen and pure hydrogen. Oh, hi, buddy. And
Well,
it
that sounds
just
good.
makes things work better energetically and physically. So it's a yeah, yeah. I would love to.
Wow.
I would love to have you come for a session. I'll show you. It's easier in person to see what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
that sounds
But
amazing. That
yeah,
sounds like soul nourishing, body nourishing,
mm,
just energy nourishment.
yeah, that's the
Definitely.
goal for sure. That's the
Yeah.
goal.
I'll probably come to your South Austin location
Please do.
at some
I
point,
would love
maybe
it.
September.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, maybe a birthday session or
yeah.
around the time of a birthday. There's like big energy in birthday seasons, which is
Yes. I
work with.
always like to treat myself with something.
Yeah, yeah, rightly so. I think you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. I'm excited. And so what is the main thing that you do? I know you said you take some breaks in the day, but what's something that you feel like you have to do every day for your emotional, spiritual well-being?
That's a great question. For me, I've got to get outside. I've got to get my feet on the ground. So when it's super hot here, it might be 10 or 15 minutes, but that for me is enough if I'm being balanced about the rest of my life. But outdoors for me is that's an everyday thing. And then each morning I have a small practice that where I just do self Reiki, and I go through and cleanse my home and do a little incense and send Reiki to every client and student that I have been or will be involved with. So that's a daily one too. But that way I'm getting a daily dose of Reiki. And then I do physical stuff, like there's certain supplements like vitamin C, some basic supplements that I do to make sure that I'm physically in a condition to hold that kind of space as well.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, nature for me too. I get a little crazy if I'm inside too long. I'm like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
full wall
How'd
anxiety.
you do with quarantine?
Well, I had just no, actually that was 2 years. I was living at my parents had a second home in Lakeway that they weren't in all the time, so it worked out great when I was leaving, when I was divorcing. I was living in this like big house. Whenever they weren't there, it was like a lot of space. And they lived on the golf course, so I was able to get out in nature a lot, like just to be on the
Mm.
backyard. It was kind of private. So that worked for me. But actually, quarantine worked really well for me, actually, because like
I
I
also found a lot of joy in quarantine.
yeah,
Yeah.
I really liked the whole idea of I didn't feel like I had to go meet up with people, like
Mhm.
that. Oh, somebody invited me, so I better go. I'm I'm extroverted, but I'm I'm
Mhm.
sure you understand as a projector, like it's like I only have so much energy to be extroverted, but I do like to meet people and get out here and there.
Sure.
But most of the time, I like to be by myself.
Yeah.
So
Me
yeah,
too.
quarantine worked well. I mean, my boyfriend, he lives in Houston, so we were able, to. I remember the first time driving to Houston, I was like, am I allowed to be on the road? Like
Yeah,
we're quarantined.
it was a weird feeling, wasn't it?
It was like, and then I started realizing, wait, why am I feeling like this? Like somebody's controlling me and I'm going to get in trouble if I'm on the road. I did not like that feeling,
Yeah,
but we
good
didn't
awareness.
know, we didn't know what to do with it, right? It's so
Sure.
new.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved quarantine. I mean, most of it. I loved it because we have great technology, so I could
Yeah.
still have connection, right? But then also, I loved not having any social pressure
Yeah.
or scheduling pressure. That part
Yeah.
was really lovely for me. I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
did too. I was like, oh, well, we're quarantined. We can't go, like
Yep. Guess I got to lay in the yard for another hour or
yeah.
three. Yeah. Yep. I did a lot of yard laying. I still do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, yeah. I mean, to each his own, right? I think everybody
Yeah.
enjoyed
Sure.
it for a short, some people I'm sure went crazy at some point, but
I think it was a great reset button for everybody. Earth
definitely.
included. Like it was had a lot of benefits to it for
Yes,
sure. Yeah.
definitely. And it
Yeah.
switched over. I mean, I went all online after that. I was in person before with working with kids.
Oh, really? And now, wow. So that was a big shift for you
Yeah,
and your clients.
I went and met kids at the library. I went to their house. And
Cool.
then I had a little bit of online classes through outschool.com. And then once 2020 came along, it was like all of a sudden I was like, oh man, I have all these kids in my classes. I'm just going to work online. So I just, yeah.
Awesome. So it propelled you to shift over too. That's great.
Yeah. So, and then being a single mom and then homeschooling my daughter, it was like, I can't drive places to go work with kids
Sure.
anymore now anyway. So
Sure.
it works. Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, kids are so adaptable too. They seem to do
yeah.
really well virtually or, online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Now it's
Yeah.
like, how do you get them more
Yeah. How
offline?
do you get them back outside? Oh, this reminds me. I meant to email you about this, but I'll just tell you now since I've got you. On July 23rd, I'm doing a tween sound bowl workshop at the Pflugerville Library. It's free and it's for ages 8 to 12, and everybody gets to leave with their own little Tibetan sound bowl. So that's going to be a cool event. If you have people in that age range who would like to go,
Oh,
they are
that's
warmly welcome.
nice. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll share it. I know because we used to live in Round Rock. We do know some kids over there,
Okay.
so I
Yeah,
can share it.
I'll send you the I think you can start registering today probably. I'll send you the info,
Okay,
but yeah, I know that's your one of your
fun. Yeah,
special
I'll definitely share
demographic.
it out.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. I'm glad you're doing that.
Yeah, me too. Should be fun.
Cool. Anything else coming
Yeah.
up? Any other events?
There's a Reiki 1 class coming up in July, and that will be in South Austin. And then there's a cranial sacral certification. That's a 2-day certification coming up in August. And those are both open to beginner level. So you don't have to be a chiropractor or massage therapist or DO to take the cranial training. That level is appropriate for everybody. So you can learn how to do some stuff at home, or if someone is a body worker, they want to add on pieces from the cranial sacral modality. That's what that certification is.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really interesting. It's really interesting how the body works and how much everything runs through our nervous system, including energy. So
Mhm.
nervous system to me is kind of the sweet spot of the energetic field and the physical body. It all runs through that energetic system through
Yeah.
the spine.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Intriguing.
It's really fun.
Wow, okay. Well, that sounds really cool. I can't wait to have a session with you. I want to feel this. So,
Yes, please do. I would love to have you anytime.
yay. All right. Well, thank you, Mallory,
Yeah.
for being here. Is there any last thoughts you'd like to share before we say goodbye?
I just think you're doing a great job and you're so loving and warm, and I like your energy. So thank you for showing up for yourself and everybody else.
Oh, that's so nice. That's a
Mm.
typical projector comment there.
Mm. Here I am.
I love it. That's
Yeah,
so
good.
sweet. Well, we
Yeah.
appreciate what you put out into the world as well, because like
Mhm.
when I first met you, I was like, she has the Virgo nourishing energy. Every woman I know that's a Virgo has that motherly, like, I'm gonna take care of you
Mhm.
energy about them that I love. Like
Mhm.
I just I love to be around that.
It's an honor to get to be a vessel for that. That's really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really
I mean, you
cool.
are a natural healer as a Virgo. So,
Mm, yeah, that resonates. Yeah, it's nice, nice path.
so thanks for doing your healing and shining your light. And thank you so much
Yeah,
for being
of
here.
course. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'll talk to you soon.